Thank you very much. Thanks for coming, guys. I know that AI and voice technology is really, really popular at the moment, so I'm super glad that so many of you could come in here and have a listen to what Monty's just prefaced, which is conversion rate optimization. So I wanted to start firstly by asking you guys how many in the room kind of have an idea about what conversion optimization is or conversion rate optimization. Just show of hands, roughly. Cool, so most of you, not a problem. So the definition of conversion rate optimization, and I hate it when people do presentations and go through definitions, but I want to give you this to you to preface what I actually think conversion rate optimization is. So a systematic process of increasing the percentage of website visitors who take a desired action, complete a goal. It involves understanding how a user moves through your website and what actions they take to complete those goals. So CRO was a coined term, similar to PPC, SEO, all of these coined terms that we do in digital. I don't actually think conversion rate optimization is what we do. What we do is conversion optimization, and there is a slight difference. What we're trying to do is we're trying to go on the website and not just improve the conversion rate, because that's one metric. We're trying to improve the conversions across the board, and I'm going to take you through a little bit of information as to why I did that, show you some examples, and then if we have enough time at the end, I actually want someone who's brave enough to bring up their website and we'll quickly do an audit on the spot. We'll see how we go. So, moving right along, how many of you are doing SEO for your business at the moment? Just a show of hands really quickly. Oh, I would have thought a lot more, pretty much everybody here. Okay, no worries, so 70, 80%, no worries. How many of you are doing PPC, Google Ads, Google Shopping, whatever it is? Almost everybody. How many people are doing social? I'd imagine a lot of you are doing that. I'll throw out a zinger. How many people are doing Bing advertising at the moment? Oh wow, it's way more than I thought. And how many of you are implementing CRO at the moment? So a handful. And that's a really, I'm going to say maybe 10% of the audience, and that's a really, really good depiction of what the CRO industry is like in Australia. So just a couple of stats for you. CRO, worldwide, Australia makes up 7% of that. So we are a tiny, tiny, tiny little morsel of what's going on in terms of CRO. Most of the people that are doing that from in-house, so there's 44% from agencies, 56% from in-house, which is slowly transitioning away as agencies tend to specialise a lot more these days, and we're moving towards that kind of a bracket. So what people ask when they're talking about conversion rates, and I want to throw this to you guys because not everybody will know what their conversion rate is, but everybody asks, what should my conversion rate be? And that is, how long's a piece of string? Because every single industry has a different conversion rate. Here's what the average data says that you should have. So as an e-commerce store, anywhere from 1.84% to 3.71%. And from lead gen, 2.23 to 4.31. Now, again, very, very based on industry. If you're in the real estate industry and you're not doing over 9% conversion rate, something's wrong with your website. On the flip side, if you've got a bricks and mortar store and an e-commerce store, obviously there are sales going through the store as opposed to online, and therefore your conversion rate will drop off. So it is a little bit, it is a little bit of an average. It's just averaged out to what the industry thinks, and this is based off last year. So what happens with conversions, or what happens with what we're doing today, because a lot of people are from the search background or from the Google PPC side. We do all of this marketing and then we bring into this conversion optimization funnel to the website. So you get all of this quality, fantastic traffic there, and a lot of the time that's as far as it goes. You do all your technical SEO, you do your backlink building, awesome presentations before on that, you do PPC, you do social media, and they land on your website, and that's that, and you just hope for the best. Now, what we want to do in conversion rate optimization is not only improve the conversion rate for the sake of getting that order or that lead gen or whatever the purpose of the website is straight away. We're also doing it to continue the sales funnel and then get buyers that are going to be nurtured to be repeat customers, to continue being marketed to. So the idea is not just to get that initial win, which is normally either a new lead or some more money. The idea is to get more return customers down the track. Now, this is one of those slides that I see everybody do it all the time when they pull out their phone. Please do it right now. This is literally CRO analysis in a nutshell. So this is what everybody does. So please do it while I'm talking. This is something that you definitely need to take home with you. So what you do is you do the analysis from heuristic. So heuristic analysis we'll get into in a minute. Mouse tracking, Hotjar, heat maps, we'll talk about that as well. Web analytics, user testing, qualitative surveys, and technical analysis. And all of those things there combined create insights for us. So we've got enough data, we're able to sit there, generate the data and say, this is what we want to do going forward. Then what we can do is we can prioritize those issues, create a hypothesis, and then we're able to test. So I want to take you through a really good example. I have a company that's a vintage bike company that we do some work for. I've been told not to use their name, so I've tried my best to bleep them out. My graphic design's not amazing, so let's see how we go here. So what we did for their website is technical analysis. So technical analysis is mostly in Google Analytics. And I'll just preface that, if you don't have Google Analytics set up for conversion rate optimization, you can't do conversion rate optimization. I know other CMSs like Shopify and stuff will have analytics in the back end, but Google is just, it's the be all and end all, it really is in this situation. So please make sure you've got Google Analytics all set up. So basically with technical analysis, you're identifying all of the technical issues in the back end. So that could be anything from what platform people are using, so whether that's desktop versus mobile versus iPad or whatever else you want to call it. That could be looking at the different browsers that they're using, how they convert on each individual browser. That can be looking at website speed. That can be looking at a whole multitude of things. So when we had a look at the Vintage Bike Company's website, here's what we found. So mobile conversions on the website were at 0.45% compared to desktop that were at 0.82%. So a little bit over half of what they were converting at. So straight away, red flag, what's going on their mobile side. The next example was that we had a look at site search. So everybody asked about the site search bar, and I can tell you right now, in terms of e-commerce, really, really, really important. So what happened was we looked at people that were using, that weren't using the search bar were converting at 0.55%, as opposed to people that were using the search bar that were converting at 2.33%. And that makes sense. I mean, when you go to a website and you type something into a search bar, you know what you want, you know exactly what you're going to, and therefore you're more likely to convert and buy that product. So definitely important to see what their site search was doing. And then finally, we had a look at their site speed. Their site speed was loading at an average of 11.4, which is pretty horrible, and we'll get into that a bit later on. So these are all the things that made up our technical analysis, and I just want to give you a really quick example of that site speed. So this is Google Page Insights, and this is another tool that we use called Web Page Speed Test. Two of the biggest metrics there are time to interactive. So the first time that people could interact with the home page was 16 seconds, and their average load time 11.35. So really below par, and I'll get to that in a minute. So then heuristic analysis is when you're talking about any distractions, any motivations on a website, what makes you tick, the psyche of making you want to actually purchase a product. So from there, what we noticed was they had this free shipping bar for orders over $75. So their average checkout cart was about $235. So to have $75 was a really confusing method for them. I understand that they had the logistics in their back end, but from a consumer point of view and from a user experience, it really didn't align. So a lot of people were quite weird about that. Then we had too much emphasis on the stores. So just to back up a minute, these guys have brick and mortar stores all around, I think 2 in Melbourne and then all around Australia. So they had a lot of emphasis on their checkout pages saying that you can just pop into the store if you'd like to and go buy it there, or we've got a store here, or tell us what your local store is, or put your postcode in to get a local store. So if your main goal is to get conversions on your website, probably not best to turn people away from your website, because you're obviously going to affect your conversions on there. So moving along, the heuristic analysis. As you can see, I've tried to blank out. I don't think you can see their name anyway, good. So what we had over there was the free delivery available on most orders over $75, which is just concerning as well, because most, like, is my order over 75? What depicts most? It was really confusing for their audience, and then you have to click to learn more, and then you have to read more content before making a decision. So not the best user flow. So then we go to mouse tracking and heat maps. Does anybody have heat maps installed on their website? What are you guys using? Yell out some names. Hotjar? Yeah, Freshmarketer, Crazy Egg, anything like that. Cool, so there's a few of them out there, and the purpose of using heat maps is you're able to see where people are engaging and interacting with a website, and that's obviously very useful for conversion rate optimization, because you can identify the areas that they're either ignoring or that they're getting stuck in. So what we found by looking at their heat maps was that they had a price filtering section on their product page, which was actually highlighting the cheapest product first, which, if you think about that, just because it's cheap doesn't mean somebody wants to buy it. So you actually have to go a fair bit down the fold to get to most of their popular products, which are vintage bikes around the $200, $300 mark. So that was a bit of a concern. The other one that we saw was that they had this redundant wish list. Nobody uses wish lists anymore. I haven't used a wish list in 5 or 6 years. So it was on the website, did not get touched for the 2 months that we were testing, didn't get touched whatsoever. So I'll show you. This is an example of a heat map. So top of the website, bottom half of the website, and you can see just up the top there, that's the wish list button with not one click, and that's 2 months worth of data. So in 2 months, nobody used the wish list whatsoever. Redundant, so we had to make that identified. User testing. So really difficult one in conversion rate optimization because there's a few methods that you can do. You can either get people in-house to test for you, but then because they're there with you, they may very well give you answers that you want to hear. You can do it remote, which is what we did for this one here, but then you've got to give them really strict guidelines as to how to work across the website, otherwise they can go on a tangent and start doing a bunch of other stuff. So it was a really difficult one for this one, but we went with the remote testing because we were able to give them a good guideline of specific tasks we wanted them to complete, and then they're able to provide feedback. There's a lot of different tools to use that. Hotjar does it. We use one called iLoop, which is really good. There's also Userfeel. And then there's another method where you can just pay a company to do it. So similar to how you outsource your SEO or outsource your digital marketing through an agency, there are agencies that will test this for you, give you your reporting, and then report back. So what we found with the user testing was that they had a confusing menu navigation. So what happened was, and there's a picture of it, they actually highlighted their Easy Pay and their Afterpay within their menu drop-down, which is nuts. What are you trying to achieve there? And then over half didn't trust the checkout. So a lot of them were concerned because there weren't any trust badges, there wasn't much identification of what types of payment options that were available to them. And there was also nothing in there saying secure. So just think about your own psychology when you buy things. If something doesn't say secure or it looks a bit different from a normal checkout system, you question it yourself and you think, am I going to actually go through with this? So you can just see over here, they've got these two where they promoted their Ride Now, Pay Later, Afterpay and Zip Pay, and then they had gift cards. But then you can also see that they haven't, because of that, they haven't been able to fit all of their product categories actually in their menu. So kind of confusing, not the way that we wanted to do it. And then finally, we did qualitative surveys. So qualitative surveys, as simple as that. You're getting people to run a survey and answer questions that you have about the website. So this was really straightforward. We asked them, what did you think about the $75 shipping situation? They were less than pleased, basically. And then we asked about the live chat, and over 90% of the people that use the live chat function weren't responded to. So that means that they sat there, put a message, never got a response. What's the most likely thing? They all jumped off the website. So pretty straightforward there. So then, and this is just an example of that there. Sorry, just some data. How would you rate your website 1 to 5? Pretty straightforward. So these are the changes that we did. Improve the mobile UX. We made particular pages that weren't converting very well a lot better. We increased the size of the search bar and we made it extremely bold on the top of the website. Compressed the images, installed a bit more optimal cache, removed irrelevant backend plugins so that the website speed was up to scratch. We got the website speed to 6.2, by the way. We made it free shipping for all orders and got them to figure that out themselves. We reduced the visibility of the buy from store, so we didn't want people to understand that they could go to the store. We tried to detract them from doing that. And then what else we did was we updated the price filtering to make it that the popular products were at the top, not the cheapest products. We also removed the wish list completely, thank God. Removed confusing content from the menu, so those Easy Pay and Afterpay were gone. Improved the checkout to 2 pages and added some trust badges there, so secure checkout, talked about PayPal, Visa, whatever else they needed to have in there. And then we did a bit of a discussion with them about having 2 particular employees that were going to look after the live chat functionality, which they implemented on their end. So, based on all of that, sorry that was a mouthful, this is what we've got. So this is a snapshot of their data 2 months before and 2 months after. So as you can see, very, very similar amount of traffic. What I want to look at is the e-commerce conversion rate just here. So 0.62 before, after we did all those changes, 0.82%. Now what does that mean for a business? It's a good win, and here's what we can break it down to. This resulted in 32% increase in conversion rates. This resulted in 43% increase in transactions. And this also improved their revenue by 45%, which means they had a grand total of $262,000 total revenue increase. So I just want to reiterate, there is no traffic change here. So all the work that we've talked about today, SEO, all the technical functionality, all the traffic that you drove to the website, none of that happened here. All we did was improve in the same time duration of 2 months, the total revenue by $262,000. Pretty cool. Just give me a tick, I'm gonna have a drink. Is anybody else hot? Because I'm boiling up here.